what message would you like to put out to the larger world about your experiences?
It's same as I think what we have in Ukraine. It's very important for the another nations because sometimes people who live long time in peacefully countries with democracy, they could forget that we have to fight for the freedom every day, and we can lose freedom. Even in your peacefully country, you can lose this freedom. Like your past generation brought to you this, and you have everything what you want. You have opportunities, but one day you can lose it if you forget how to do it again. So the sense of freedom, humanity.
Hello and welcome. This week on The Edge, our guest is Aziza Eskender. She is a young Crimean Tatar musician and artist. That allows us, of course, to talk once again about the peninsula, but also it allows us to talk about the importance of art and the role it plays at a time of war. Finally, she is of a generation that I have specifically wanted to reach out to because I wanted to know what it's like when such a bulk of your life is growing up amidst conflict and Russian aggression. So, Aziza, welcome to the studio. It's nice to have you here.
Hello.
So you are a Crimean Tatar, yes?
Yes.
Yes, but you were born in Uzbekistan.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until you're about 4 when you go back to Crimea.
Yeah.
And then, of course, now, since the invasion and the occupation of Crimea, you've been living here in Ukraine, mostly in Odessa.
Yeah.
A lovely city. But we're glad to have you here in Kiev today. How has all of this, your history, the history of the Crimean Tatars, the occupation, the war, how does this affect your art?
Oh, it changed me 100% because it was different, etap of changes because first time it was in the 2014 when Russian occupied Crimea. Mm-hmm. It was first big shock for me because I realized that Putin is a very dangerous person who has the power, and also the world didn't say no to him, so he could occupy Crimea, and it was really. My childhood, I lost my childhood in that optimistic mind about the peaceful world, about the world without border, because I always felt that I'm human. Mm-hmm. I want to live in the world without borders, without hate feelings. I want to bring these ideas to the heart of the people, because for me it was most important, because we can have different nationalities, but we are human. Mm-hmm. We can understand each other. So it was first time that I realized that it was something not good was in this world, and but still I saw that Russian people are not guilty, because we have one leader who is not good, who is really killers, who murderers, who tortures the people. But Russian really can change this if they will be more brave, if they will understand about these problems, if they will see the examples of Ukrainian people, how they do it. And I create a lot of music in Russian language, because it's long history about colonization of my nation because of deportation, because they killed in 1938, they killed best people of our theater, of our best singers, best artists. So they killed the intelligence of our nation, and they deported all nation, and we live long time without universities, without schools, without our identity. So a lot of our relatives said didn't say something about our nation. So, for example, my mother lost knowledge of own language. She didn't speak in Crimean Tatar. My father spoke a little bit. And so we spoke inside in Russian language, and that is why I created a lot of music in Russian language. I created also in Ukrainian, in Crimean. So I had the songs in Crimean Tatar language. It was old Crimean Tatar language, old Crimean Tatar songs. But still, Russian language was my main instrument. So I was very good in Russian language. And after the full-scale war, the last illusion died. So I realized that it's not about Putin. It's not about leader. It's about Russian culture. Yeah. Because I was a part of Russian culture even in this moment when I saw that I could change as people through this language. But in reality, I was a part of instrument of how they Russifiled the nation, how they Russifiled Ukraine, my nation. And first months, I didn't think at all. I thought about it. Art has no sense. With art, you cannot stop the rockets. A lot of great genius people support Putin. Why? You are a genius. Why you support Putin? I saw that when you're a genius, you can be defend your mind from the chauvinistic thoughts, defend your mind from the such really terrible ideas. But no, art didn't defend you. Or, for example, religion didn't defend you. Doesn't defend you. Sorry. So I saw that maybe I have no sense to do art. Maybe I have to join to the army or just work hard to earn money and to donate army. Maybe all my life was stupid. But after the time I realized that why Russian Empire, Russian world killed a lot of our best people. So that these people could create new world, could create books, census, but they killed it because for Russian culture is very important. So they killed, they destroy world with soft power too. And sometimes soft power is much worse than weapons. Even for example, my mother said that it's better to live in Ukraine under Russian shelling than under Russian occupation. Because soft power can kill you, absolutely, can kill your soul, can kill your mind. And that is why if Russian support with great millions budget, Russian culture, diplomacy in different countries, create films like good Russians, bad Russians, they work hard with the soft power. Yeah. So if I will stop do it, it means that Russian want me. It means that I'm lost something that my parents gave to me. They live very hard life. They gave everything for the children. So they didn't dream about something, beautiful. They just work hard to give opportunity for own children. And so I realized I have to do my music. So I translate some Russian songs. I begin to create more Ukrainian songs. And most of all, I begin to speak in Ukrainian everywhere. Yeah. In home, outside, even when people speak with me in Russian, I answer only in Ukraine. I begin to sing in Ukrainian language. And through Ukrainian language, I begin to learn Crimean Tatar language. And I begin to create Crimean Tatar music, new music with new ideas. And I begin to transform. I did it before also. I transform old Crimean Tatar songs in a new way. So I begin to just realize it's more deeper. And it changed me absolutely. And also I realized that pacifism is a really... it doesn't suit for this time. because you cannot be Pacific. You cannot sorry, for my bad
No,
English.
that's okay.
If you live together with people who want to kill you, with a state without rights, without democracy, because you can think that, okay, I want to create green energy, I want to be so open-minded, but in one moment some terrible people, some barbarian people will come to you, kill your family, rape your wives, and so you can lose everything, because you cannot think about peace when somebody came to you with a weapon. You have to be warrior.
Yeah.
And in this way, you will bring the peace in your home for the future, because you cannot stop these people, these aggressors, with songs, how I saw it before, that I can inspire these people with songs and they can stop to do this shit, and maybe they can take the responsibilities and change government. No, because I realize that even one leader is a mirror of the social life. Because even when they said, we could not change this, we are small people, it's also mirror of your vision, because you have to say, no, I have responsibility. I have to change this, maybe in small things around of me. And this
are these the kind of themes that you put into your music? This kind of message and this kind of idea?
I have in my songs, I have a lot of level of understanding. It's also social understanding, like for the people, also for the soul, for the person. But it's like in same moment you can understand the songs in different ways. But of course, because.
And so is your audience primarily the people you're trying to sing to, or make your art for? Are they Ukrainian audience? A global audience, but not so much the Russians.
Not. I don't want to. I don't want to speak with Russian anymore, because I realize that they will never stop with soft power. I want to have influence on the world to explain the situation, to give our advice. Experience, to say what we had in the past. I was somebody who defend Russian. They say, no, they are good, let's help them to defend Putin. No, they are part of this, even good Russian with open mind. They don't want to realize it. If they will would not reflect on history, on imperialistic culture, they would never change open world. But they are very smart, because they understand to be empire, it's much more better for them. So they have all resource. So all these territories that they occupied, for example, Tatarstan, Ichkeria, and other territories, they occupied for the resource, for the money. Why they still is strong? Because they have this resource, because they have oil, because they have all this stuff, and they can sell it and have money for the war. And that is why in Ukraine we say we want that Russia will destroy absolutely, and nation will be free. Because only in this state they can be not dangerous for us. And we have really bad luck. We live near with Russia. It's bad luck.
Yeah, it is.
And we always together we live like we are gate for civilization, for the normal civilization. We always meet these Russian faces here, and so we want to explain the situation. It's not because we are traumatic, we are so angry, we are like not. It's this so tell a lot of really peacefully really deep personalities in Ukraine that not feel something bad feeling for Russian. I don't feel something. I just don't want to see their faces. I don't care about these people anymore, but I realize that these things can help my nation and next generation be free.
Yes.
And I want to say this through music, through art, and I want to explain how beautiful Ukrainian culture really can bring something good in this world. Because
is that kind of theme that you are focused on? Is showing Ukrainian culture and beauty and okay, so you're representing the Ukraine
Yes.
of this country.
And Crimean Tatar also, like a part of Ukrainian.
I definitely want to talk to you about that as well. But before we move away from that, from talking about art in general, how has the war, the full-scale invasion, affected your art? How has it changed your art?
First of all, it brings me my identity because I was lost. So I didn't realize this. I didn't know about this. But what Russian did with my nation, we have a lot of generations that lost. For example, generation of my parents. Mm-hmm. You can imagine that they live in deportation many years. And then they begin to live in Crimea in the time of Ukraine, when Ukraine was under Russian influence. Yeah, and Crimea was pro-Russian too much, so it was Russian autonomic republic inside of Ukraine, and so we lived in chauvinistic world, and it was a life. It was a time of surviving. Time they live very hard life. It was small, but it was small time when Ukraine, a little step by step, in any case, changes people. Even because
well, they gave authority to the Mejlis, the Crimean Tatar parliament.
It's
the Mejlis.
Mejlis. It's a very unique instrument because, in general, Ukrainian government didn't give official power to Mejlis. How they begin to be like power? Because of supporting of people. Because Crimean Tatar, it was one of the big representative power of activist movements. Because of supporting a lot of Crimean Tatars people of Mejlis, they begin to have a place in the government in Crimea. So our thoughts began to be important for these territories. Our wish, наше бажання. So
your will.
We began to be important because we have big supporting power.
You decided that the Crimean Tatar people would have power, and so
for example, I can explain.
You manifested it.
I can explain to you. One time we had big protest, like a rally. A lot of Crimean Tatars from different cities from Crimea came by the walk to the capital of Crimea. It's Akhmezhit, Simferopol, for the idea to say that Mejlis has to be important in the Crimean government, and Ukrainian government have to understand this because we are power, people are power. So Crimean Tatar in that time was super progressive, and they said we are the power, and even pro-Russian government in Crimea could not stop us, and our leaders will be part of Crimean government, and they will do our reason. So they will do our
interest.
They will
pursue your interest. Yeah.
And it was not because it was somebody in Ukrainian government did it for us. Not, it's people did.
Yeah.
And so I want to say that it was really hard life, but when it was small period when communists in Crimea begin to be more, friendly, and Ukraine changed them. So that when the Russian deported us, a lot of Russian communists begin to live in colonization by Russian. So begin to live in our houses, and after the time, through the by influence of Ukraine, next generation of these communists begin to be more friendly to us. They realize that we are not barbarian, like they called us churki, like stupid people. They realize that we are smart, we are friendly, we are not terrorists, we are not kill the people, and our situation began to be not so bad. Like it was still, but Russian influence, but in general, it was not so bad. And then Russian occupied again.
Right.
And so
in 2014.
Yeah, and my parents didn't have good life at all because they always fight for the life, and now they again in occupation.
Yeah.
Now they again, so all their life, Russian destroyed everything in our homes, in our future.
What do they tell you? Are you in contact with your parents at all?
Yeah.
Because they're in occupied Crimea to this day. Right
Yeah,
now, they're living under Russian occupation. What do you hear from your family, your friends? What do they tell you the Russians are doing in occupied Crimea?
Yeah, unfortunately, my father died in 2018, and it was very sad because he even didn't see the full-scale war because it's a very bad full-scale war. But full-scale war brought to us hope that we can deoccupy Crimea, because before it was like, absolutely we didn't have hope to see.
Between 2014 and
because it was
2022.
like, we have to deoccupy it in diplomatic way, so you can realize it could be never happen at all. So my mother is very unlucky. It's when you live like a shadow, because it's very dangerous to show your face, real face, and it's very painful to realize it from the Crimea.
Why is it dangerous?
Because a Russian government it's like concentration. It's like it was in Kherson. You can understand this. It's silent terror. So when you are not good for Russian government, they took you in basement and will torture you, and then took you in prison, and you will be live in Russian camps. We have a lot of our people, especially Crimean Tatar. Crimean Tatars are main percent of the people who are in Russian prison, because to be Crimean Tatar is a danger in Crimea, because they know exactly that Crimean Tatar are not Russian.
Yeah,
and we know about the past. We know about our history, and we will never believe in good Russian in the good life is Russian.
Yeah.
And so,
well, and anything that isn't Russian, they try to break and destroy. So you showing your art, your culture, that's why it's dangerous. Is that what you're hearing from? Maybe you have other artist friends who are inside occupied Crimea who can't express their Crimean culture.
Who is in Crimea? They could not express reality and own souls at all. It's not life. It's not. You have to be in shadow. You have to be in silent. And even Crimean Tatar who live in Ukraine, they are also afraid because my activities can have a bad influence of my relatives in Crimea. So they are like hostages. And even I always thinking about my parents, about my mother. But I thought that maybe I'm a bad daughter, because I thought I have to say something. Because if all our people will be in silence, we will never change this. And it's like a lot of people like in the illusion, like it's not real life in Crimea. And the people try to be not they don't speak about this topic at all. Like war is not exist.
Just ignore it and maybe it'll go away.
And this also can destroy your soul, because step by step you begin to believe in this, and you begin to be like we say, if you don't support Ukraine, it means that you are lost your humanity. Because if you are human, you will support Ukraine. Because it's absolutely clear when Russian tried to destroy Ukrainian cities, it's absolutely clear that Russian is aggressor. We could not support and be tolerant with this. We cannot say, okay, let it be peace. Let Russian occupy these territories. It's not right, because aggressor will never stop. Especially when aggressor see your weakness and see that you are okay with this, so he will do again more. He will occupy more and more, and just will be near with you. Someday he will be close with you, because our world is not big; it's small planet. So for me, it's very important to say about this. Even I'm afraid about my relatives, but I do it.
Well, how important is art in a time of war here in Ukraine? How important is it not only for you to express yourself, but for your audience to hear your expression? How has that how is that here in Ukraine at this time of war? How important is art?
Yeah, I want to also say a little bit more about what Russian did in Crimea. Sure. They also destroyed our historical buildings.
Yes.
So they wanted to delay our history with the destruction of our. For example, they destroyed Han Palace many times in the past by Russian Empire, but also during this time they also destroyed the artifacts of these buildings and stole a lot of our artifacts, like our precious things. They stole this, so we are like naked. We are without our. Without our things that give us power in Crimea,
without identity,
and they don't say that we are indigenous people. They say that we are national minority, not indigenous people. So, and what? How is art? Is
how important is art? To not only to create it, but for the people to receive it.
I'm always thinking about this. Especially when I realized that in that moment, a lot of my people, soldiers, are fighting on the battlefield. And I can understand that sometimes it's absolutely time not about, concerts, exhibitions. But a lot of my friends that are soldiers, they say it's very important to have inspiration, to see this world with deep thoughts, because my art is not about only fun and entertainment. It's about dialogues with my people, dialogues with the world, so you can find answer or be inspired to understand this time better. And for my Crimean Tatar people, it's absolutely important because we lost the time. Because of Russian aggression, we live in 20th century. So our culture is very. We had a lot of degradation. So our culture can be not so modern, and that is why it's so important to create something about this time with new instruments, with new melodies, to create something new because we need it.
But you're bringing the traditions of the Crimean Tatar.
I mix it, but my art, my music is very modern. And I think that nation can have power only when the art is about this time. When this art can speak not only with your people, but with this time and with another people from all the world. And when we can bring something beautiful to this world. When we can be... concurrent,
concurrent, yeah.
Yeah, when we can be on the same level with another culture, so we can bring something together to this world, and only in this way, nation can be in this world. Because in another way, we can disappear. Not only like when we save the ancient culture, when we save traditional culture, we can save our nation. But also when we create something new, in this way we also save our nation, because we can bring future for this nation.
You can be of the world.
Yeah.
What's the message that you try to put out with your art? What's the message you're sending?
Oh, I have a lot of messages, and it's always you can find different senses in one song. For example, one message is directly small history for the person, and also for the community, for the government, and for the spirit. So we can find a lot of senses, because sometimes I don't like explain the sense of the music, because when you touch person with the real feelings, even if person doesn't understand your language, person can understand everything, because music and art is not like you touch it directly with the soul, heart, and mind of the person. And I have a lot of example of Ukrainian people who are listening Crimean Tatar songs, and they said, I don't know language, but I understood everything, because it's also not directly. And I think the most important to be real, to be honest with the people, and not play the role like, for example, like somebody said to me, oh, let's do some fun music, optimistic, like, and it would be more like, people would like it, because it's not, you don't need to think about it, just like relax. But um I think in this time we have to be honest, we have to be real, and don't play the role for the money, for the to be famous, because it's very important to build a world with the real relationships, with the real love and supporting, because in this way you can find real friends, people who will be with you till the last day. And I think in Ukraine exactly we could understand it perfect, because every day can be last day in our life. So why we need to do something shed without sense if I will die tomorrow? I need to be myself this day, because it's only one opportunity to be in this world.
Well, that's an important message, no matter wartime or peacetime, I think. What message are you? So that's between Ukrainians and Crimean Tatars. What message would you like to put out to the larger world about your experiences?
It's same as, I think, what we have in Ukraine. It's very important for the another nations, because sometimes people who live long time in peacefully countries with democracy, they could forget that we have to fight for the freedom every day, and we can lose freedom. Even in your peaceful country, you can lose this freedom if you forget the reason of this freedom. If you forget that you have to do it with open hands, not like your past generation brought to you this, and you have everything what you want, you have opportunities. But one day you can lose it if you forget how to do it again. So the sense of freedom, humanity. Also, one of the topic is colonization, because why Russian occupied Crimea so easy? Because world is still imperialistic, but we still have a lot of leaders that are thinking in imperialistic mind. So because they thought Ukraine is a part of Russia, Crimea is okay, Russia occupied Crimea, but it's like, yes, of course, it's against the rule, against the our and the United Nations decision, but Ukraine is just the same territory. So we can, because they have also imperialistic ideas about history of Ukraine, about history of Crimea, because they also were in past colonizator, were in past people who did it, but of course they had this reflection, they changed themselves, but still we'll have some problems with this. But also one topic that interesting, some people who live in great capitalistic world, they saw that capitalistic world is a very bad because of money. Money is so dirty, and so in this way Russia can be good, opposite power, and that is why we can support Russia, because you can bring this, not capitalistic mind ideas, and so we can be a little bit communist. But the people who are really have romantic feelings to communistic life, they didn't know how to live in such shit world like Soviet world. It's absolutely cancer. So I want to say it's not good.
Well, not just the communism, but the Russian Empire, the imperial mentality.
It's just maybe great idea to create a world with common rights for how to say, but it's impossible till the community, till the people will be more spiritual, don't think about, but it's impossible in this moment. So we have to grown up to be to be free to do it. Now it's impossible. It just will be like copy paste. It's impossible to do it, and it's very crazy when you see some people from the young generation that saw that communism is good, way for development, and it's not good. And we have to support, defend them. Really good things that create this world in Europe, in United States, really bring something really good, rights for the nations in this world. We have to defend this and protect from the this bad influence of Russian world and influence of another countries that have no rights for the people, for the women, for another part of communities. So it's not like directly I think about this, but it's always about it, how we can be together and how we can understand that we are now in the time of changes. And if we will not be strong, the future will be much worse. So if we will not take responsibility, our children and grandchildren will have to do it.
Yeah. How are you optimistic or pessimistic that you'll be able to go back to Crimea someday?
I'm such a person. I'm always on. Like I created trip hop. Is a little bit dark and we can say a little bit sad music, but I don't think it's sad. It's like dark light music. But in general, I'm a very optimistic person. And I believe that if you think in some way, it can be reality soon. So, of course, we have a lot of facts that maybe it would be a long way. It would be a long way because exactly sometimes world doesn't understand the power of Russian, thoughts, philosophy, culture, and exactly because of this. Because still people can support Russia in some way, I can realize that it would be a long way, but I will do everything to make it closer to us. So what I can do, I have to fight every day, and I have to do something for changes. Because if I will be too much pessimistic, I will die. I will say, okay, nothing has a reason. So what I can do?
Well, that's what the Russians want you to do, though.
Yeah,
I mean, that's part of the way they colonize, is to beat you down.
And I know 100% that the lie will die. It's not. It's impossible to live all time like this. So this monster, this territories with such philosophy will destroy it because it's true will be in front someday of the people, so everybody will understand this. It just said that maybe it would be not in good way. So when rockets will be in your home and you will understand this, it will be a little bit late because rockets will be near with you. It will be great that people will understand it much early, but
do you think that's another message that you put out in your art? This idea of
course,
if you don't if you don't appreciate your freedoms.
Yeah, because I really want that people will never know about the war. We'll live in the peaceful life, and because we are broken, because we saw a lot of deaths, a lot of our people that it's not good, it's not healthy, and I don't want that another people will in the same situation. I want that another people will be healthy and will think about a normal, peaceful life, not like in Ukraine about the war. And so in this way, you have to support, people who are fighting, who still agree to fight. Because if Russia will occupy us, we will be part of this aggressor. And with Ukrainian soldiers and with Ukrainian people, this monster will be much stronger. Because it was in the past. We were a part of Red Army of Soviet Union.
Yeah.
and we were much, successful. They were much successful with this power.
Yeah, Moscow will use Ukraine to
that is why I also
others.
said to Ukrainian, if you think that you will live peacefully life under Russian occupation, it's no, you will just part of aggressor, not a part of free world, but you will be part of aggressor who took your sons and your children for another war on another territories.
In the artist community that's happening now, what do you see within the artist community? The trauma that everybody's going through in the war, what do you see not only from what you're producing and creating, but in the art scene in general in Ukraine? How do you see this war being expressed?
We have really renaissance of culture, of Ukrainian culture and Crimean Tatar culture too. But still, we have not a lot of resource. For example, Russians have a lot of money for creation, for producing these ideas. And so what I can say from my world, we have no supporting to create something really loud. For example, my music. I can create my music with great sound, with a big orchestra, with a lot of musicians, but I have no supporting. I could not do it. So what I can do this in the acoustic version because I have no supporting. And it could be much better if we, but it's like history. Russians have a lot of resource. And so they have a lot of money, millions of rubles, and they could support this in different ways. Support. They still are part of festivals, Oscars, and they have big influence because of a lot of this contacts with different organization in the United States, in Europe.
For distribution. For and platforming their
you can imagine
message.
How it can be sad when you realize that you can do something really good, but you could not. But Russians at that moment does everything, and people say because Russia has a great culture. But they have big advertisement in the past, like in the time of Russian Empire. That is why the people say Dostoevsky and Tolstoy is great. No, just they have a lot of money that supports this idea in that time. And people, it's really a crazy thought that somebody can say that some culture is better than another culture. It's absolutely a crazy thing because culture is in general precious. Every culture, every nation is precious, something interesting, and can really how you can earn a Nobel Prize or something like this. When you translate your books in many languages, and for translation of your books, you have to have great management. You have to pay a lot of money for this. And so your book can translate in different languages, and so your literature can be visible for another nations. How they work. And so
how do we get Ukrainian voices and art and culture to a larger audience?
I don't know, because we lost a lot of centuries for this. Just if you have power to support culture, please support art projects. Support people who can speak loud about our world, about our fight. And also, of course, we have problems inside also because, for example, in my nation, exactly because we have to save our traditional identity, sometimes people are against for something new. Because I said, you did not good. Do it in a traditional way, because it's like you bring something not beautiful in our traditional culture, because it's crazy. It's like they don't accept this. They don't support this because they want to save something traditional. And when you do something new, but in general, it's everywhere. When you do something new, not everybody supports you, and not everybody believes that it would be successful. So do your music like for small amount of people because it could be not successful. So it's also part of this fighting, because you have to explain to your people, to people outside it. Even not explain. You just do your work.
Mm-hmm.
Do your work. Continue do your work in any situation, if even it's very difficult.
Well, and I think this happens with every generation.
Yeah.
That they try to bring something new,
Yeah.
and maybe the old traditional people, the older people, they don't like new. It makes them uncomfortable.
100%.
So then, let me ask you one last question.
Yeah.
And it's about this. I'm a lot older than you, and so I come from my generation, and I've seen the history of Ukraine and Russia and all that. But I'd like to ask you, as a young person who most of your life has been with Russian occupation of your home and colonization and all of it, and the trauma of war, tell me, how much do you think the war is defining your people of your age, your generation, who've really only known war and occupation?
Defining. Can't you explain this word?
What define your generation, поколение?
Define what is
how can you? How would you explain how this war is changing your generation? And when I say define, I mean it's everything. Your environment that you're growing up in.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was your age, none of this, was happening to me. So when I was in my 20s, I was defined by my time. This time is a time of war, and I'm wondering how you think it's going to create the character of your generation.
I think we are older, and this generation didn't know about this topic, because you lost some part of joy, because you could not be happy. Like, I could not be happy till my people in prison, till soldiers in Russian captivity, because every day in the same moment when I'm smiling, I'm thinking about this. I could not leave it. And of course, also I want to say that if even we didn't see the war exists in this world.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't think about this, it was in this world. We will never live in the peaceful time. It just was different topic, and I think it bring more humanity to our hearts, because you can understand a lot of nations that have the difficult times. You can understand this, and you can bring something warm, and you can support a lot of nations, because you can understand this moment. You can understand how to fight. You can understand about injustice. You can understand how this world is not so not easy. Like, it's not so. It's difficult to explain a lot of things in this world, and you have to search information. You have to be open-minded. You have to don't believe just in the words. You have to check everything. You have to be find the truth in everything. So you cannot be just naive, or you can't be just believe in some propaganda. You have to be clear in your mind. I want that I will also create another world for next generation. So also it's very hard to, I think our generation don't want to sometimes build the families, because you had this example of our parents that brought us in this difficult world, and now you are thinking twice to give the life to another person, because you know that this life will be not absolutely perfect. This life will be with injustice. This life will be very difficult if you have the heart, if you have the humanity, if you have no moral, moral feelings. Maybe it will be all right. You will be just make the fun or make the money. But if you have the heart, if you want to be human, it would be hard life because you have to always be, pay attention for everything. And that is why maybe our generation have big responsibility, because we are thinking about this, and we want that our next generation will have another life. So how I thinking about this? I don't want to leave this world in such situation. I want to leave this world with good opportunities in my country, for my country, for my people, and for the world. And that's why it's something like this.
Yeah, well, and that's why you make your art.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll include the links down below to examples of your art.
Thank you.
Aziza Eskender, is there anything else you'd like to say to my audience before we finish?
I want to say thank you so much for watching this video, for supporting us, for you. Thank you so much for your question, that you are not indifferent, that you are in Kiev, you do your work. It's so inspired me to not stop to do my work. Thank you so much. You are incredible.
Well,
and you guys also, you are incredible. Thank you for watching this video with me.
Well, and hopefully they'll watch an awful lot more of your music and look into your art, which I can highly recommend doing. I see the influences of the Crimean Tatar history, a beautiful history and legacy. The people of Crimea, the Tatar people are amazing people, and I really hope that you free yourselves from the colonization of the Russians. Thanks for coming and speaking to us today. And let's all do this together. I find inspiration from you, and if I provide inspiration to you, I'm only too happy.
100%.
Okay.
Слава Україні!
Героям слава. Thank you.